how did you think Review Club went this morning?
I thought it went great.
What did you like about it?
Well, we talked about how one article said that hybrid and remote work was basically the worst.
I couldn't believe that. Usually you think of Harvard Business Review as kind of measured.
Yeah.
They're not planting a flag in the ground saying this is evil.
Mm-hmm.
But that article felt like they were definitive. Not that Harvard Business Review, but the authors. And I was just surprised that they even published it. So what's really bizarre is it's counter to our experience. So I think that's why it was hard to read that evidence-based work.
Yeah.
Because it's just so counter to our experience. So, like, in a couple of sentences, do you want to recap some of what they were saying?
I mean, they were saying your culture takes a hit, commitment takes a hit, performance takes a hit,
collaboration takes a hit.
Right. It's not possible. Meetings are a waste of time.
Yeah. Engagement takes a hit.
Yeah.
Just meaningful work. I mean, I don't know. It was just like every possible evil thing that could happen in the workplace. This is the cause. I mean, maybe this is hyperbole, but not really.
Yeah. And then they were just talking about remote, but then they even dug deeper that hybrid. That doesn't work either, because if you come into work and nobody's there that day, you have the same problem. So
yeah,
I do wonder. I do wonder what people's individual experiences are. Because I think, like you said, we're not having that experience.
Yeah.
So, and in the article, they didn't really offer a counter view. Like, maybe you could make it work.
Mm-hmm. Here's how you could make it work. Yeah. Well, and so I think that when we were reading that article, that's my maybe way of thinking about it was we know that workers like at least hybrid.
Mm-hmm.
We know that they do because it helps them with work-life balance and childcare and emptying the dishwasher and getting their laundry and just whole life experience. We know that that's what they want.
I mean, we like it.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. And I have seen our clients have better experiences because of hybrid work. So I'm not ready to throw the baby out with the bathwater. I want to say, what can we do to the bathwater to make it less damaging to the baby?
Yeah.
You know, because, one of their points was around meetings.
Yeah.
And I thought Hunter did such a great job talking about, we have great online virtual huddles.
Yeah.
As a team. We do. Mostly because you are thoughtful and you make sure that you're weaving in all the pieces that make it engaging.
Mm-hmm.
Also, we do have a norm that no one would ever turn their camera off. Maybe that's just a work wisdom thing.
Yeah, it's an unspoken thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Yeah.
How do you make our meetings so good even though they're virtual?
I prep so much.
Yeah, but in what ways? Like, what are you thinking about putting into those meetings so that they are virtual, allowing for hybrid employees, but awesome?
Yeah. Well, we have a small team, so it works. The one thing that I prioritize is to make sure we all know what's going on with everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
So that has to be in the meeting. I also want it to be slightly relational because Hunter and Allie are remote and you and I are married. So we are talking all the time in person. So then the check-in is usually geared towards something. It's not completely personal, but it's meant to get us thinking a little outside of like work stuff.
Well, you almost always tap into positive emotion. So you set the tone for the meeting with positive emotional attractor state. I don't know if you're doing that consciously.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But
I am.
Often around gratitude.
Yeah.
Like what am I grateful for? What did I do this weekend? What am I savoring? What did I love about my work last week? So I think that gets us all remembering that we actually love our lives, our work, each other. I don't know.
Yeah. So I spend a good deal of time trying to think about what would work for that. And I try to change up the prompts, because if I do the same one thing that I've noticed is if we do the same one every time, it starts to lose. It's like listening to a song that you love, and then you listen to it so many times, you're just like, whatever.
Pink Pony Girl? Yeah. Is that what you're thinking of right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's the making sure we know what's going on with everybody, making sure that we have that personal, but it's also positive. And the other thing is I am aiming for a certain amount, like of organization, like discipline. Like we need to touch on this and this and this and this. And so I like that there's an agenda, and I like that there's a kind of flow to it. And this is fairly new, but I try to send the agenda and the prompts before. I think I've done it the past couple of weeks. I send that into Slack before we start the meeting. Yeah. Just so people can think about what we're going to do.
Yeah. I mean, that article was just, they were saying hybrid/remote meetings are a waste of time, or too long, or the wrong people are included, or too many people are included. People aren't engaged, people don't come, and then they have to have a meeting after the meeting because some people didn't come.
Yeah.
So there's just so much wrong with, again, back to the baby in the bathwater. That's not a problem with hybrid work. That's a problem with the leader doesn't know how to facilitate a meeting.
Yeah.
In my very judgmental and humble opinion. I mean, maybe we need to teach leaders how to have meetings.
Yeah, I was thinking about that with authentic communication with the book. I was like, do we need a tool in there? Like maybe within the richness of mediums or the one of the tools should encompass running a meeting, because have an agenda, hold to the agenda, make sure you have goals and takeaways, and so everybody knows what they're doing. I thought it was great on this past Monday's meeting that one of us didn't know something that was happening, and then learned in the meeting it was happening, and it was just like it had slipped through the cracks a little bit, but that meeting we're on the same level. It's great.
Something else in the article was basically that it drives individual superstar performance, because in a hybrid or a remote work environment, you're taught as a leader to be really clear about, this is yours to do, remote employee. This is your job. Here are your KPIs. This is what you're running at. And so what suffers is teamwork.
Right.
So I guess in the spirit of let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater, what are your ideas about how could we reverse that so that is not, in fact, happening? That individual star performers are just myopic on their job, and then they're not helping co-create and work with their teammates. Or how do you see it on our team? Because I don't see that at all on our team. Yeah. I see that if somebody, Allie might be working on something, or Hunter or Courtney or you or me, but like we're all there to jump in and help each other. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
How do we do that?
How do we do that?
How did we? Yeah.
How did we do that?
I think that one thing that you said this morning that I thought was important around this topic was noticing, like changing what you're measuring and maybe what you're looking for, what you're asking of your team. So if it's always that you have to get this thing done. Of course, it's going to breed like one person keeping their head down, getting their stuff done. But if we are looking for more collaborative outcomes. But on the other hand, I mean, I love the fact that Hunter and Allie meet. We didn't tell them to do that, but they have a meeting that they keep. So,
well, okay, this is going to sound radical. I might break the internet if I say this, but is it the KPIs that are the problem? You know, in a small company like ours, we have essentially one KPI, which is stay open. Yeah. Don't go out of business.
Right.
You know, try and be useful. And we all know what our goal is, but there's one goal and that we're all running at together. And we all know how everybody contributes to that.
Yeah.
But we don't really sit down and say, okay, Sarah, you need to bring in $1 million of business, and Hunter, you've got to get so many articles in Forbes this year. You know, we don't divvy it up like that. So
is that what normal companies do?
Well, yeah, normal companies do have more key performance indicators and performance indicators for individuals. Okay. So we could be more normal, or we could stay abnormal. And so, you know, I guess one of my takeaways from that article was, let's stop. What if we stopped blaming the employees for a minute? And what if we held up the mirror and said, I wonder why nobody wants to come here. Yeah. You know, maybe it's ugly, you know, or maybe it's not warm, or maybe it's not welcoming, or maybe you don't have a spot.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the hoteling, I think everybody's learned nobody wants to do that.
Yeah.
You don't want to share somebody else's germs and, you know, see somebody else's family pictures on your desk. And so, yes, I know that's expensive, because that means you need to have enough square footage so that everybody has a place of one's own. But if they feel like, I want to go to the office because I need some connection time, and I know that I have co-creators there that I can spitball ideas with and get some help, then I think it's more attractional, rather than I'm going to get this ruler out and smack your knuckles if you're not here 4 days a week, you know?
Yeah.
So that's my thought, is like, what if we as leaders made our offices more hospitable and like community centers? Nurturing.
Yeah.
Nurturing. That costs money, I guess.
Yeah.
So what else did you take away from that article? Is there anything else? Or what else are you thinking about for our business based on that article?
I think the other thing I took away from it is that we should keep paying attention to it, because I don't disagree that probably on a larger scale, like, commitment and engagement will flag if we're not like in it. And so I think we need to keep an eye on it, like make sure that we're healthy and that we feel engaged.
Yeah, I think it keeps, for me, I keep thinking about, well, it's about intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation. And if we can help our employees truly love their work or see it as meaningful, even if they're building mousetraps or whatever that is, you know, there is meaning in that work. If they can love that and love the teamwork, then we don't have to count how many hours their green light is on.
Yeah, gosh.
Because that sure is not life-giving to anyone.
Yeah, that makes me.
That's
I don't want to do that.
Yeah, nobody wants to do that. And I think, you know, it's, again, you know, and you have a podcast on intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation. So I think the question is, as leaders, how can we build community? How can we build meaning? How can we help people understand that achievement is a huge part of joy?
Yeah.
So that was another article we read in HBR today, that there are 3 parts. Do you want to say what that article was about?
Yeah, it said that, well, the premise was really cool. It was that to have a satisfying life, you needed to have a sense of achievement or accomplishment. That was really a big part. And you also needed to have meaning. Like there's something bigger than outside of just me. That's really important. And then the third piece of the satisfying life is joy, is experiencing joy. And so in that article, they were saying that high performers tend to have the first 2. And then the third is like in the crapper.
Yeah.
Like people are like,
when I make time for it.
Yeah.
Which is, yeah.
But that's the fullness of it when you can have all 3 of those things. But they did say that they found that a lot of people's experience of joy didn't actually happen at work. So they talked a lot about how to achieve that positive emotion, because it might not always happen when you're at the workplace. So
yeah, I think it's so important that we remember we actually need all 3.
yeah.
I think there are people who become really wealthy, or when folks retire or sell their businesses, and they're no longer doing the achieving anymore. It's not a rich life anymore.
Yeah,
they might have money, but it's not a rich life. So achievement is part of having a really good life. And so how do we achieve and have meaning and have joy? And I think workplaces can be a big part of that.
Yeah, I mean, when we were having review club this morning, it felt like all the things. It felt meaningful, and it felt like we were doing something, and it felt joyful. It feels like a bonus.
Yeah. So, I mean, to tie it all back to this hybrid, remote, in-person, work from anywhere, work from a coffee shop, work from where, whatever. I think that those are the 3 things that leaders want to pay some attention to. Am I creating and cultivating a place where people feel safe and seen so that they can achieve, hopefully, and find meaning, even if it's through teamwork or and joy too.
Yeah.
And not that all of that is the responsibility and culpability of the boss, but I think we need to pay attention to it if we want to win in the long run.
Yeah. And the boss does have a lot of influence on that.
Yeah.
So,
and the owners even more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good point.
Well, it was nice having coffee with you.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah. Is this the end of our very first vidcast?
I think so.
Okay. Should we clink our coffees together? Yeah. Is there going to be some sort of ritual? Love you.
Love you too.